In this podcast episode, we're going to talk about respect. Do you get the respect you deserve? Does testing get enough respect in comparison to programming? Do we have a respect problem in software development in general? But one of the things is you might not be getting respect because you don't deserve it. So we need to look at that. We need to make sure that we are capable of doing the role well and selling it properly so that we get respect. But also respect is a process problem. So we're going to look at all of that in this particular episode. Now, I've worked on agile projects, and in agile projects, we're told that everyone is a developer. So therefore, everyone should be respected equally as part of the development process. But then some developers are more equal and respected than others because some developers are developers, but some developers are QA, some developers are product. So it doesn't work particularly well from a naming perspective. If everyone's a developer, but some developers are developers and other developers are non-developers. So that might be contributing to it. Perhaps the role aspect contributes to it. But very often we just have a system problem where people in general are not respected by an organization. So you get a lack of respect everywhere. Now, there are things we can do about that. On an individual level, we can extend respect to the touch points that we have in the system and do our best to improve it. But in general, if it's an organization that doesn't respect its workforce, you're going to get a lack of respect throughout every single project and every interaction. Now, one of the reasons I find this annoying is because I view software developer as an aspirational role. To be a good software developer, you have to understand product, design, analysis, testing, coding, deployment, DevOps, security, marketing, sales, all of this. We're developing a product, so a software developer understands every part of that development process and the go-to-market approach. Most people haven't had experience of all of those roles. It's an aspirational role. We do bits of it. So we're all coming in with missing pieces, which is why to create a good team, we need to fit all those together to get an actual full picture. If you can do everything, then that's great. But sometimes what happens is you've had experience of management or programming. You're in a role as a tester and you're not being taken seriously for some of the aspects because you're viewed as the role, but not the person. Your respect is not being extended to you as a person. Respect happens at a human level when we see the value that each individual brings and we honor and respect that in our environment. So one of the things we hear is that programmers don't respect testers. I don't think that's a general case. I think that's an individual case, and it's probably a system issue. There's no reason why programmers shouldn't respect testers. But if you're doing work as a tester that doesn't deserve respect, then why should we respect it? A lot of testing processes don't fit in well to the general development process. A lot of testing processes are built around handovers. So programming does some work, then it gets thrown over to the testing. They don't even work in the same process. They don't work at the same level. Why should people respect that? People would probably have more respect for testers in that environment if the testers were pushing back and trying to get a process that worked well. We have to own our roles, craft, jobs, processes to fit them well into an organization to allow respect to happen. One thing is some organizations view testing as a very junior role. And so people are stuck doing junior things that pretty much anyone could do. But you're now an experienced tester. You've been doing this for 5 years, but you're stuck in a junior role. Why would people respect that? There's no improvement or advancement. Processes need to evolve to allow respect to develop in there. So one thing is, do people even know what you do? Because sometimes people just see like a role, they don't know what's involved and they see it taking too long, so they don't respect that. They may not see value in the output because they only see part of the output. We don't communicate fully what's happening. If we don't understand something, then sometimes we completely don't respect it. Sometimes we don't understand something and we over-respect it because we think it's so hard or so complicated. Programmers might get a lot of respect from product and users because they look at this and go, this is just a magic thing where people are writing code. I could never learn to do that. I'm in awe of this. So very often it's not respect, it's veneration. But the reverse also has to happen. Do testers respect programmers? Do you respect the effort that they're putting in? Bugs are a side effect of a process. Do you view the unit testing as part of the test process? Do you extend them the courtesy that they are actually doing testing and it's not just all you? We have to have respect as a mutual aspect. It's a relationship between people. So it's not just programmers don't respect testers. Do testers actually respect programmers properly? And do the programmers deserve respect? Because sometimes they might be using a process that doesn't deserve respect. It could be better and they could be in charge of doing that. Ultimately, when we're looking at respect, we can have respect at different levels. We can respect the craft, we can respect the skill, and we can respect the person, the actual implementation of both of those. You can have respect for the craft of testing or the role of the tester, but you don't necessarily respect the skills that this particular implementation of that role is using. You respect testing, but you don't respect the use of test cases and test scripts in a huge waterfall process, not in an agile process. And you might respect testing and testers, but not these people currently doing the role as tester in here because they don't know what they're doing. They're missing obvious bugs. There's multiple levels that we can approach this. So we ultimately have to have respect at all those levels as well before we can expect it from anyone else. And this is a questioning set that you have to go through yourself. Do you respect the craft of testing? Do you study it? Do you study related roles like philosophy, psychology, systems theory? Are you advancing it? Do you just accept what you're given? Or are you actually trying to advance the craft of testing? Do you question it? Do you bring in new skills and new roles? You have to start from a point of, I have a craft that is worthy of respect. I have a set of skills that are worthy of respect, and I know why they are worthy, and I can tell you. And I have worked on them and spent a lot of time doing them, and I put the effort in, and I have embraced this. And I have skills that I can bring out with this particular role, and I'm going to show you what they are, and I'm going to tell you things and bring my full skill set to bear in this environment because I have self-respect and I am worthy of this. That's the attitude we have to start with. One of the issues is we often look at programmers and go, oh, they get more respect than us. I should be a programmer. You have to start from, is this role you're doing valuable? If you're doing a testing role and it's not valuable, then yeah, go and be a programmer. If you don't see value in it and you don't see enough to respect in it, then start working on a role that you do respect. Because otherwise you're going to bring down that role for everyone else because you don't respect it. I'm just a tester. Really, I want to be a programmer. Go be a programmer. I'm just a tester. I want to be a test automator. Go be a test automator. If you can see value in all of those things, then be all of those things. And then you start to be a developer, and that's worthy of respect as well. Really, you can't even offer respect to other people if you don't respect what you're doing, because you're not really offering them respect. You're offering them veneration or awe, or aren't you so brilliant and I'm so unworthy? If you start from a position of respect, then you can respect them as a peer on the project. You know you're adding value. You know they're adding value. You respect them as a peer, and we make this entire software development process work. You have to start from a perspective that you deserve respect, because only then can you offer respect. And not just that you deserve respect, that you have put in the work and you understand that you're doing something that has the self-respect built in. So a general question is, does development get more respect than testing? And it might, because some people don't understand what programmers do. So people respect skills and roles that they don't understand. They're in awe of it. They might over-respect it on that basis because the people doing that role might not be worthy of respect, but people don't understand what it is, so they get more respect than they deserve. One of the interesting things is, will AI change the level of respect that we have for different roles? If people see AI and programmers using AI, will they have less respect for the programmers? Because, well, programmers are just using AI. I could use AI. I can create code using AI. These programmers are not as worthy of respect. Maybe we're going to hit a point where our normal human biases around, well, I respect things I don't understand, change because everyone thinks they can do testing, so they don't respect that as much. people don't think they can do development, but if they start using AI to write code, then they might think they can do development, and then they respect it less. And that's a problem, because what we're really trying to do is create a circle or cycle of respect in an actual development team. We should all have respect for each other. There's a yin and a yang, which is split across 12 different roles, and we need them all in order to have balance. We have to have respect for the software development process, and then the people within it to make it work. We get told the builder mindset and then, I guess, a destroyer mindset. And we might respect one more than the other, but it's a balance. We need them both. It's actually a cycle of improvement and renewal. We create something, then we take it apart a little bit, see what the issues are, come up with improvements, and then feed it back in and improve it. It's a virtuous cycle of improvement if we do it properly, and that's worthy of respect. So if you're concerned that software testing doesn't get the respect it deserves, have you considered whether users get enough respect, or product owners, or engineering managers, or test managers, or programmers? So have you looked at all those roles and understood them and evaluated whether they are in the same position as you in your environment? It's possible that no one is getting the respect they deserve. And one of the interesting things for me is I've spent a long time in this industry, and I've tried to understand all these different roles as much as possible. So I have respect for them, because I know how difficult it can be to work in product and manage those relationships and the timescales and the promises and deal with issues and balance what you have to prioritize and what you don't. I've studied management and worked as a manager, so I know how difficult that can be. So I have respect for the people in that position. I have respect for the role. But it also means that I can spot a bad manager, and then I don't have as much respect for those people. And I can't view them as a junior in that environment because they're senior, and we have a problem in that entire system. So all I can really do at that point is extend respect where it makes a difference and help develop respect among everyone in the system parts that I actually interact with. Because the process might not foster respect. The process might keep things hidden. If each role doesn't see what the other does, then they'll think they're not doing anything. There's a tendency to think, well, if I can't see it, it's not happening. Are defects on the project seen as a tester-created problem? If you've ever been told, please stop finding defects because we are trying to release this software, you are viewed as the person that is stopping the release of that software, even though you're doing your job and you're finding defects and you're trying to stop the bad product going out to people. You're viewed as the problem. There's no respect for that role. There's no respect for the process of finding issues. There's no respect for expanding the coverage to make sure the product's good enough. There's no respect for quality. It's not always about you. Sometimes it's about the process. One thing we should consider is that respect isn't about being nice. Respect is about doing the right things for the right reasons and having the capability to do them. If you're covering for flaws in the process, then you're disrespecting the process. If you're not pointing out issues in the process, then you're disrespecting that process. You're being too nice because you don't want to make waves, but in reality, you're not offering the respect the process deserves because it should be improving. We should all be working together to make this better. Same as if you're not raising issues because that's too confrontational, that's disrespectful. You're working possibly in a climate of fear, which explains why you're doing it, but it's still disrespectful for the process. At least try and raise it. Because sometimes what happens is you'll raise the issues and then you get told, I'm sorry, please stop raising issues. The management tell you, I'm sorry, I don't really want to hear it. I want you to come with solutions, not problems, even though the solutions are out with your pay grade and out with your influence sphere. It's a way of keeping things down, and it's a lack of respect. It's management not respecting the people bringing them a problem, not respecting that there's something wrong with the process, not respecting that they have a role to do and help resolve this. And that starts to spiral down. That's part of the respect process problem. There's not an awful lot you can do about that except keep pushing for these issues to get resolved or keep raising them. And sometimes you might just give up because you lose respect for management, so you don't tell them things anymore, so you just play the game. You don't respect them, so you're not going to do the respectful thing and point out the problems. You're going to disrespect them by, not my issue, it's your issue. That happens. We have organizations that don't foster a culture of respect, and they don't necessarily deserve it. But if you have enough self-respect, then you will at least take ownership of the relationships that you have in place. So we should cover what you can do to build respect, or start building it, or at least influence it as much as possible within your sphere of influence. So one of the things is knowledge sharing. Share what you know, show people what you do, help people develop the skills that you have so that they're not completely reliant on you, but then also they learn how hard or difficult it is. But you can make inroads into their role as well, because knowledge sharing isn't just you, it's pooling from other people. It's helping them share their knowledge. The more that people understand what people do, what they're going through, what skills they've had, what they actually do to improve, what issues they've overcome, the more respect will happen naturally. Knowledge sharing is a phenomenal force for building respect, certainly on teams and certainly between teams. And one of the great things is, if you ever get the chance to do an escape room with your team, you suddenly see that people can do things that you can't, that people instantly see things that you didn't see at all. You have respect for their abilities beyond the role. You have respect for them as people. And sometimes people don't bring all the skills and attitudes that they have into a project because they try to constrain themselves in the role. They don't necessarily have enough self-respect to bring their full personality and skill set into a project. And that's really what helps build respect amongst the team. And the more you're capable of sharing, the more you're capable of showing that you're learning and you want to understand people, then that helps build respect. So if we can make all our processes visible, all our roles visible, all the issues that we're having visible so that people understand it, if you try and perform the role that people are doing, you will have more respect for it. If you try and learn more about management, more about development, if you try to do it, you will have respect for what that person has had to go through. Similarly, if they try to do what you're doing, they will have more respect for it. Another way to deal with that is pairing, so that you don't just work on things on your own, you pair with people. Then you'll see how they approach it, you'll learn, they'll see how you approach it. You can add value into processes that you're not normally involved in. If you're pairing with a programmer and you're a tester, you can be asking questions during that process, which help extend the unit tests, which help the programmer understand the scope of what they're building, risks they hadn't considered. We combine and we're stronger and more powerful because we are collaborating and using our full skill sets. One of the things we see in organizations is that organizations can be very dysfunctional. Hierarchical command and control structures are very often not built on respect. They're built on fear and power. So we don't necessarily respect the people in charge, but we do what they say because they're in control and they can sack us or they have power. It's not about respect. We're not following them because they're leaders. We're doing what they say because they have control over us. They have power over us. That's not a particularly good, respectful environment. If you have a command and control structure and it's built on respect and you have leaders and you have people at the top of the game who are doing the right things for the right reasons, that will foster respect. And it doesn't depend on fear and power anymore. Ultimately, a well-functioning organization will be driven by respect. It can still be hierarchical, it still be command and control, but its basis for that control is respect rather than fear and power. So that's why really all we can do is focus on the sphere of influence we have and the people we work with and develop respect for those people and extend our respect onto them in hope that they will respect us back because we're working as a team. Real respect causes people to come together as a team and work, understanding their strengths and weaknesses and balancing them and making sure that we fill in the gaps by learning together so that we have respect for our entire process. Respect ultimately happens at a human level. It isn't about roles and hierarchies, but you need to have respect for yourself and your role in the process and the craft of what you do and your skill sets. Otherwise, you can't really expect anyone else to have respect for you. If you don't have respect for the testing role and you want to be something else, don't expect people to have respect for the testing role. You need to see value in it. And bear in mind that if you don't have respect for the testing role, you want to be a programmer. When you're a programmer, and you can certainly achieve programming, you can learn the skills, you can do that, you won't have respect for any of the people in testing. You need to understand those roles and have respect for them. And it starts from the position of ownership when you are in that role. Start with self-respect. Respect for your craft, for your skills. Respect yourself enough to keep getting better. Respect your craft enough to keep getting better and try and improve it. Because then, when you are offering respect to other people, you're offering respect as peers. You're not elevating them in a position above you. You might have a lot of respect for their skill set, but equally you have a lot of respect for your skill set. So you are peers on a project. That's ultimately what you want to work towards in terms of working at a development process level. Everyone is a peer in that development team, in that process. And the respect is equally offered across all the roles and between all the people. When you do that, when you respect people as peers, you are contributing to the development of a system where respect is built in. You're contributing to the creation of a process where respect is built in. And that's about all you can do. Some systems are based on power and fear and they're dysfunctional. So all you can really do is help foster a system of respect at the points of the system that you interact with. And to do that, you need to start from a point of self-respect with what you do so that you can respect people as peers.